The possible meeting between Trump and Modi in the White House brings renewed focus on US-India ties, particularly in the realm of defense cooperation. With Trump's vocal support for strengthening the Quad and his insistence that India purchase more American-made defense equipment, the stage is set for an exciting White House visit as early as mid-February. But let's critically examine the potential defense deals, the technological challenges there are, including the GE jet engine en passe, and of course the broader Indo-Pacific strategy to counter the rising Chinese threat. Under Trump's first term, the US administration frequently touted defense partnerships and the benefits of US technology. Trump is now expected to push even harder for India to increase its purchases of American defense equipment. One likely area of expansion is in advanced fighter jet technology. While India has long sought to modernize its air force, including importing the fifth-generation Rafale jets from France, the question does arise, can India potentially acquire a sixth-generation fighter jet from the United States? At present, America is in the early stages of developing a sixth-generation fighter. These platforms are envisioned to feature ultra-stealth capabilities, advanced sensor fusions, hypersonic speeds, and artificial intelligence-driven systems. However, right now, no sixth-generation fighter is available yet, either for production or for export. In the near term, Trump is likely to press India to consider expanding its fleet from the F-35 stealth fighters, which is already a mainstay of US weapons exports. India could also look at joint development programs that incorporate next-generation technologies over the coming few decades. The Trump administration's push for a stronger defense industrial base could result in more collaborative ventures. Beyond fighter jets, some potential new defense deals could include advanced missile systems, enhanced air-to-air and surface-to-air missiles, which improve the Indian Air Force's and the Army's capabilities against modern-day aerial threats. There's also naval technologies, next-generation destroyers, frigates, and littoral combat vehicles that incorporate advanced radar and weapon systems for maritime security. Remember, when the Prime Minister went for the state visit in June of 2023, the Navy had announced that they were procuring the MQ-9B Predator drones, some of which will be delivered soon in 2025 and 2026. Also, unmanned systems, aerial and maritime drones for surveillance, reconnaissance, and combat, which are now increasingly vital, as is being seen in the Russia-Ukraine war. Modern-day warfare is being defined by which country has better drone technology. And then, of course, there is cyberspace and aerospace capabilities, joint research and development in cybersecurity and space-based assets, which are critical for integrated defense systems in the 21st century. Added to this, the recent announcement from China about its indigenous sixth-generation fighter jet has added urgency to these discussions between India and America. China unveiling its conceptual sixth-generation fighter jet, a platform reportedly which has breakthrough stealth technology, hypersonic propulsion, and integrated sensor networks, has set off alarms in strategic circles. China, back in December of 2024, unveiled what it called the White Emperor, or the Bai-D, which is a sixth-generation fighter. It is a strategic inflection point, particularly in the ongoing strategic competition between India and China. The very idea of China fielding such advanced technology represents a strategic threat, not just for India, but also for the United States. India's geographical proximity to China and the long-standing border dispute with Beijing, all of this means that any significant leap in Chinese air power could substantially tilt the regional military balance. For India, this underscores the need to accelerate its own modernization program and to secure advanced technology from the United States. Even if a sixth-generation fighter is not immediately available, the prospect of a Chinese leap in air technology acts as a catalyst both for India and for the United States to deepen their defense procurement and joint development of military technology. One area of considerable concern in this regard for India's defense modernization is the delay in the GE jet engine deal with HAL, which was announced in 2023 when Prime Minister Modi had a state visit to the United States. The agreement was intended to enable Indian partners like Hindustan Aeronautics Limited to co-develop and produce advanced jet engines, the 414 GE jet engines, that would power the indigenous fighter plane, the Tejas. However, GE's reluctance to share crucial technology with its Indian partner has pushed back the timelines quite significantly. The core issue is that of intellectual property. GE has been cautious about transferring sensitive engine technology, and that, of course, underpins its own competitive edge in the global aerospace market. This reticence has led to delays in integrating the GE HAL engine into the Tejas aircraft. This would be the Mark II engine for the Tejas Mark II. For the Indian Air Force, the induction of the Tejas Mark II with its modern and reliable engines is absolutely critical. The evolving security environment in the Indo-Pacific is also a challenge and an opportunity for US-India cooperation. With China aggressively expanding its military capabilities and projecting power in the South China Sea and the East China Sea, both US and India need to recalibrate. To counter China's advances, the US and India can deepen joint military exercises. Right now there are the Quad exercises, the Malabar exercises as they're called, which involves India, Japan and the United States and also Australia. They could also consider intelligence sharing, technology transfer. A more robust defense partnership would help both Washington and Delhi with their core strengths and also jointly counter a hegemonic China. The Quad, or the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, which comprises the US, India, Japan and Australia, is emerging as a critical forum for shaping regional security dynamics. In Trump's first term, there was significant support for the Quad as a counterbalance to China. In fact, Quad got elevated to the foreign minister's level when Trump was in office in his first term. Subsequently, his successor Joe Biden elevated the Quad meeting to a heads of government level with a yearly Quad summit. India will be hosting the Quad summit this year, later on, which Trump will be attending in person. Trump is in fact expected to reinforce the Quad framework even more. Trump's approach has always been characterized by an America First mentality, yet in his first term, there was vigorous support for multilateral frameworks, particularly the Quad. In his second term, Trump is expected to double down on the Quad, urging India to take a leading role in the Indo-Pacific. For India, the stakes are very high. The need to modernize its armed forces is urgent. It's driven by a rapidly changing security environment in the Indo-Pacific, and by deepening its defense ties with the US, India can gain access to cutting-edge technology, benefit from joint development programs, and enhance its strategic autonomy. However, this partnership must also navigate sensitive issues like technology transfer and indigenous military capability.